A critical vulnerability in WatchGuard Fireware has put over 54,000 devices at risk of unauthorized access, and the implications for network security are significant. This flaw, identified as CV 2025-9242, allows remote attackers to execute arbitrary code without needing to log in. On November 13, 2025, the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, added this vulnerability to its Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog, citing evidence of active exploitation. The flaw affects various versions of Fireware OS, and while WatchGuard issued a patch in September, many devices remain unprotected. Next, we'll explore the details of the vulnerability, its potential impact, and what affected users should do to safeguard their systems. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. On November 13, 2025, CISA officially designated CV 2025-9242 as a critical vulnerability in its Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog, highlighting the urgency of the situation due to confirmed active exploitation. The vulnerability affects a range of WatchGuard Fireware OS versions, specifically from 11.10.2 through 11.12.4_update 1, as well as versions 12.0 through 12.11.3 and 2025.1. The vulnerability severity is underscored by a CVSS score of 9.3, indicating a high risk for organizations utilizing these devices. WatchGuard had previously issued a patch for this flaw in September, but the data indicates that as of November 12, over 54,300 Firebox instances remain vulnerable, a decrease from a peak of nearly 76,000 instances in mid-October. Research from WatchTor Labs reveals that the root cause of the vulnerability lies in a missing length check during the IKE handshake process, allowing attackers to exploit the flaw pre-authentication. CISA's advisory also mentions specific indicators of compromise, including abnormal IK_UTH request log messages and issues with the IKE process, which can hang or crash during exploitation attempts. The geographical distribution of vulnerable devices shows a significant concentration in the United States, with around 18,500 affected units, while other countries such as Italy, the UK, and Germany also report thousands of exposed fireboxes. Federal agencies are urged to implement the necessary patches by December 3, 2025, to mitigate potential threats. In conjunction with this vulnerability, CISA has also added other vulnerabilities to its catalog, including CV 2025-62215, a flaw in the Windows kernel, and CV 2025-12480, highlighting a broader landscape of active threats that organizations must navigate. The recent identification of the WatchGuard Fireware vulnerability has sent shockwaves through organizations reliant on these devices for network security. As over 54,000 fireboxes remain exposed, the urgency for immediate action cannot be overstated. Organizations are now under pressure to implement the patch provided by WatchGuard, with a deadline set for December 3, 2025, particularly for federal civilian executive branch agencies. Failure to address this vulnerability could lead to severe operational disruptions. The reported indicators of compromise suggest that successful exploitation can result in the crashing of the IKE process, directly impacting VPN connections. This could hinder business continuity for organizations that depend on secure remote access for their employees, potentially leading to significant downtime and loss of productivity. Moreover, the geographical distribution of vulnerable devices highlights a broader risk landscape. With approximately 18,500 devices located in the US and thousands more across Europe, the potential for coordinated attacks targeting these systems is a pressing concern. Organizations must not only patch their systems but also enhance their threat detection capabilities to identify and mitigate any ongoing exploitation attempts. In addition, this incident underscores the importance of proactive cybersecurity measures. Organizations should consider revisiting their vulnerability management strategies to ensure they are equipped to respond to future threats effectively. Implementing regular security audits, employee training, and robust incident response plans will be crucial in navigating the evolving threat landscape. Lastly, the involvement of CISA in cataloging this vulnerability emphasizes the role of government agencies in bolstering national cybersecurity. Organizations should stay informed of updates from CISA and other cybersecurity entities, as collaboration and information sharing are vital in defending against increasingly sophisticated cyber threats. As organizations navigate the fallout from the recently identified vulnerability in WatchGuard Fireware, Immediate actions are crucial to mitigate risks. The first step for affected entities is to confirm whether their devices are running on the impacted versions of Fireware OS. This includes versions 11.10.2 through 11.12.4 update 1, 12.0 up to 12.11.3, and 2025.1. Following this assessment, organizations must prioritize the deployment of the patches released by WatchGuard in September 2025. The urgency is underscored by the fact that CISA has set a compliance deadline of December 3, 2025, specifically for federal civilian executive branch agencies, highlighting the potential for regulatory repercussions if vulnerabilities remain unaddressed. In addition to patching, continuous monitoring of network traffic for the indicators of compromise (IOCs) associated with this vulnerability is essential. The identified IOCs include abnormal IK_EH request logs and signs of the IKE process hanging or crashing. Organizations should implement logging and alerting mechanisms to detect these anomalies in real time. Furthermore, it is advisable for organizations to engage in threat intelligence sharing. Collaborating with cybersecurity firms and industry peers can enhance situational awareness and provide updates on emerging threats related to CV 2025-9242 and other vulnerabilities. Lastly, organizations should evaluate their overall cybersecurity posture, considering that the exploitation of this flaw may be indicative of broader vulnerabilities within their network infrastructure. Regular vulnerability assessments and penetration testing can help identify and remediate potential weaknesses before they can be exploited by malicious actors. As this situation evolves, staying informed and proactive will be key to safeguarding network security. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals.